Mm-hmm.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
And I'm so happy everyone's joining us. I'm Katia Cooper, and I've recently published a book. The name of it, let me grab a book. It's An Elf's Journey, Healing from Childhood Sexual Abuse. And the reason I wanted to have this celebration online is so that everyone and survivors can see that there's reason to celebrate. And I want to remind you to celebrate all the little steps all along the way that makes all the difference when you're celebrating. So we're having a lunch party here. Brunch, lunch, book launch party. And I'm wondering how we can go. Okay. Let's do this for right now. Okay. So we're playing some musical chairs here. And I will swivel this around a little bit. We have Sarah DeLyden and Lori here. I'm going to swing this around. Lori Folk and
Anna Casper. Hello. Hello, I'm Sarah Moran.
Do I have it in the right place?
You do. Very good.
Okay. And also Linda from Los Angeles. She's on the phone, so we don't get to see your face.
Thank you. Hello. Yes.
And Marilyn Hine. Marilyn
From
Hine
Oshkosh.
from Oshkosh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn is my wonderful editor.
Wow. Nice work, Marilyn.
Yes.
Yay.
And I have to give kudos to Anna Casper because she helped with punctuation and a lot of proofreading, good input.
Those court reporting skills come in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So thank you for being here, and we're going to party. Let's see. I guess I could say a little bit about An Elf's Journey. It became a #1 bestseller on Amazon the first day it was out, so I am so excited about that.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
And the cover is just delightful. It just draws people into it.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Love the fairy. And then on the back, there's a little elf. I don't know if you can see it on here, actually. What I love is the feedback that I'm getting from people and how they, the different things they have to say. One of the things I hear the most is, you wrote about my story. And I think, well, how could I have written about everybody's story? But thanks to the fairies and the elves, I think it captures a lot of the feelings that that people have when they experience childhood sexual abuse. And I think that's where my insight has come in, to be able to really sense those feelings and put words to them with the help of editors. So you can get it anywhere, any bookstore. Some small bookstores, you may need to call ahead and have them order it. You can find it on Barnes & Noble online, Goodreads, and on my website. I have a link to Amazon, but otherwise I have a special where you can order 2 and get 1 free. And for July, I'm going to run a special that shipping is free. So that's 3 books for $44. And I hope that appeals to people that want to start a little book group or want to share it with other survivors or abuse centers.
So what prompted you to write this particular book?
Let's see. So many things come to my mind because I felt like I was getting messages to do that. And I really, the child parts in me so want childhood sexual abuse to end for children. And I was staying really curious about, can I do anything like that? Can I play a role in ending childhood sexual abuse? And this is what came, is to write this book. And what I was told is that by writing this, it will influence a young generation. And I don't know what that meant. I guess there's a lot of younger generations that will influence other generations to put an end to childhood sexual abuse. And I thought, well, if there's a hope or chance for that, I'm all in. And I really was all in because it took 8 years to really develop this story and work through a lot to do that. Big devotion.
Well, kudos to you for your commitment.
Oh, thank you.
And I've studied this a lot as a coach. A lot of my clients that have come to me have been sexually abused as young children. And the number one problem is it gets swept under the rug and nobody wants to talk about it. So by writing a book like this, you're bringing it to the surface and enabling people to talk about it through a story.
Yeah. And the reason that I feel a story is valuable is with trauma, people get stuck in the trauma. And this way, it opens up to rewrite the story. And so what I was asking myself is, how do I want to rewrite this? How do I want to help someone rewrite this? And the reality is also in here that, there's some obstacles along the way, and there's a lot to push through with something like this, but it is possible to keep creating and staying curious as to what else is possible.
Well, and I think you did it in such a beautiful way. Like she was saying, it's a topic that can get swept under the rug, and it's a challenging topic, but you present it in such an accessible way where it's not like, this book, oh my gosh, what am I gonna, when I read this, am I gonna open it up and it's gonna be dark and heavy and depressing? It's completely the opposite. And so it's just this kind of warm, light way of approaching a really serious, difficult topic, but you manage to do it in just this beautiful, warm, easy to read way that I think is gonna just open the door for more people to be helped from it because of how you cover it, and also, your language and all the helpful resources that you tie in. Like you have just tons of tools, tons of ideas, information, tips that are very practical, but just woven in kind of seamlessly throughout the book, which is really lovely.
Wow, thank you.
Very impressive how you got that message out. And
thank you.
You did a great job.
Were there specific aspects you can recall that resonated for you?
Well, I guess just the overall tone is what I'm thinking of. And again, how it's not intimidating to read any of that. So there's that overall tone. And then just when you go through some of the lessons, you know, when they're learning in the group setting, or when she's learning throughout, and there's really kind of specific tips and tangible ways of here's a healing, here's sort of a stage of healing or a process of healing, and you explain that, you know, as it's woven into the larger healing story. So I'm not thinking of anything more specific than that, but yeah, so I think you did it very, very beautifully.
Oh, thank you, especially coming from a writer, an author.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said it's not specific, but it's deep. Like it reaches a chord within you, and I don't even know that it necessarily is that deep chord. I think it reaches into a part of us that decided to become human and leave the light and the whatever happened to us, you know, whatever, because we program in dysfunction to become human out of the light, out of that unconditional love. And I think it reaches that deep core wound. And I don't know, I think all humans have it, even if it doesn't manifest as sexual abuse. You know, as I was proofreading and having experienced some narcissistic behavior in my life from men, like it addresses even those aspects where it might have not been necessarily a physical sexual abuse, but a behavior, a type of behavior that's perpetrated that brings
Emotional
up
abuse.
It's emotional. And of course that narcissist also is deeply wounded on a level that you know, is he or she is acting out from.
Yeah.
That wounds other people. It's like this perpetual wound. Like, is the only way I can describe it. But so it's, reaches deep into the soul of humanity. Very,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Deep
Go deep.
layers. Yeah, she
You know
does.
me.
Yes.
I can't help
It's
it.
not-
Go deep. And
Go deep or
light.
go home.
Go deep and to bring lightness to it really was my goal with this.
Yeah, brings it back to the light.
Bring that lightness.
And I think of what you just said, I think it's relevant even for someone who has not experienced any kind of abuse. That because of what you're talking about, just that deeper human healing, and even feelings of self-worth or whatever else that may have nothing to do with abuse. I think you have these excellent tips for managing emotions and energetically for anybody, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like the human condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard from people is that they've used this to heal other sorts of trauma.
Totally.
I'm so glad. Wow.
You never thought it was going to be that far reaching, did you?
I really
Did you?
hoped. I
That
really
you would
hoped.
reach into other emotional traumas? Oh,
I
good
did.
for you.
I did. Yes, because I did so much healing with so many people that I found that I think through helping people heal from childhood sexual abuse helped me understand trauma to get to sort of like how to work with that energy of trauma. And you and I have talked about that.
One of the things I really loved in your book was the different aspects of companionship. So it seems like every time one of the characters would really find somebody else, you know, to be honest with, or even just like have a body proximity with that felt safe. Like, and the sense of repetition, like that those relationships having some sense of rhythm.
Yeah.
Was one of the main devices for the healing to be able to start happening.
Yes, thank you. I really wanted to create that so that people in their subconscious could create that, because a lot of times survivors have such trauma around relationships and that repeat pattern of something terrible would happen. But even when something wasn't going well, you know, the story creates how it can get even better. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear this. Thank you all. Thank you. And I really want you to take a turn to introduce yourself. And I don't know, Marilyn, did you want to say anything about the book?
Well, and I just started rereading it, and I feel the same way I did in the beginning. I just fall in love with the characters. So while waiting for noon to come, I was reading the first chapters, and I just kept highlighting and highlighting things. It's like, this is me, this is my story. And then I come to Susie Pugh, and I just fell in love with her all over again.
Sweet.
And Shell. I love the way that you have woven these characters in, made them come alive and part of the healing. So, and I just made a note as you were talking, when you said with narcissists, they're deeply wounded. I try to remember that daily, talking to people, that when someone is mean, nasty, they're wounded, they're deeply wounded, and it's coming out of that. So, and it's funny looking at myself talking.
So why don't we go around and everyone can introduce what they're into or anything they want to promote, because I really am all about celebrating each other. I think it's something that sometimes we're uncomfortable with, but I think when we cheerlead for each other, because that's how we get our work out to the world. And so, Marilyn, do you want to start since you're up on the screen? Is there anything that you want to promote about yourself?
Oh, about myself. I just got an email yesterday from the graduate school I went to in Seattle, and they just wanted two or three lines about what was the best thing, or what did I get out of going to graduate school. And I thought about it, and I thought, it's been a 72-year journey to get where I am. And when I was 18, I told God I wanted to be able to speak passionately about something from my heart, not from my head. But at the time, I had no idea what the subject would be that I would be passionate about. And years later, with everything that happened in my family, all of the trauma, I knew what my passion would be. So when my youngest child started kindergarten, I started my seventh child. When he started kindergarten, and I was a single parent by then, I started college. When I graduated from, with my bachelor's degree, I had to wait until my youngest child graduated from high school. So I worked as a writer. And when he graduated from high school, I moved out to Seattle to the graduate school that I believed would help me the most, because they said we can only help others to the degree that we're willing to look at ourselves. This book really does that, and it does that in a way using elves and fairies and the lightness, that we can let it enter us without being so scared to read something about sexual abuse. So I feel so honored to have been able to be part of this book, and to work with Katia. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say anything about the services that you offer?
I'm a counselor, and I'm no longer full-time. I have a part-time counseling practice in Oshkosh, Hearts Unfolding Counseling, because I do believe that our hearts unfold as we open ourselves to being loved and to loving and to healing. For 10 years, I worked as a counselor in a sexual abuse agency. So even though that's dealing with relationships, it was victims of sexual abuse that I worked with. In my private practice, I counsel anyone who comes for counseling because I'm working with relationship issues. And like someone said before, it's not just sexual abuse that traumatizes us. And many of the things we're dealing with are similar. It's just that sexual abuse goes to the core of our body issues.
And how can people reach you? Do you have a website?
I do. They can reach me by looking up Hearts Unfolding Counseling. I think even putting in Marilyn Hine might reach me.
Okay, and we should mention this is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Or do you do anything over the phone?
I don't.
Okay.
I really think so much is communicated through body language, through facial expressions, that I prefer the one-on-one.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Marilyn.
And my phone number is 920-203-7665. So if that helps anyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you. Okay, and who wants to go next? Introduce what they do and contacting. Now I need to.
Go back up in the right corner of your screen. The little one. No, down. Your little screen with your face.
Oh.
That little dot's on the right upper.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. See?
This must be Zoom.
This is Zoom, yes. We're doing this on Zoom. So, yeah, who wants to go next? Who wants to be in the spotlight?
Oh, me. This is like, I do a lot of different things. So I think I'll just say that for me, it's maybe more about how I've been learning in all this process of working with Katia and doing exchanges the last 7 years or so. It's been, I've been able to extrapolate that out to a lot of the work I do as an artist and a facilitator and a body worker myself, but I work a lot on cultural trauma is often known through specific places. So I'm based in both Los Angeles and Milwaukee, and I move back and forth between the two places every month. But here I've been working a lot on just both specifically in Milwaukee, some of the cultural trauma that's going on there and how that's playing out in just the overall feeling of mobility or sometimes lack thereof in the city. And then, but some of that's been too about looking at that in the framework of some of the other Wisconsin landscapes, because I actually grew up out here more in a lot of this more suburban rural area. So I don't have to give a specific thing otherwise, but you can look at my website if you want, mke-lax.org. Those are the airport codes from Milwaukee and Los Angeles.
I wish I could switch this up to the top so that we can see Anna better here. Oh, I don't know. That doesn't really help. Then we can't see.
I don't think that'll affect the recording if that little box is there.
I just like to be able to see
Your face.
Oh, you can there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that'll be fine. The video.
Okay.
No worries. We'll just,
come on about
Come
8
on
minutes.
in.
So who else wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. My name's Sarah Moran, and I am a health and wellness writer. And we were talking earlier, Sarah and I, about self-care, and that's such a big part of healing and growing as a person. And so I focus on sort of the lifestyle factors with my writing and editing. I'm working on a book series right now that I have 5 of the books done, and it's body care, home environment, sleep, spirit, and balance. Like life balance are the ones that I'm finished with, and then I'm working on food and movement next. And the idea is just to make it really easy for people to understand. I give sort of a background article to understand why is this topic really important for your health and happiness, and then try to very kind of easily give specific steps and tips for how to go further in that specific area, so people can kind of pick and choose what they're interested in working on at that time, and then have the resources to go and do it. And my website is takecareguide.com. So again, that's takecareguide.com. And so my books are on Amazon right now. So far, I've just been self-publishing them, but through my website or through Amazon, you can find them. And sign up on my newsletter if you want to find out when the food book or the movement book comes out. So one of these days, they'll be all done. Thank you.
Yay! That's quite a feat.
Thank you.
Wow. And she's a mother.
Yeah, mostly I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so it's taken many years to get to this, and
That's incredible
more to
that you
finish,
accomplished
but
that.
Thank you.
I'm
I
blown
feel
away.
passionately about it, so thank you.
How old are you?
I am 35. Yes.
Wow,
I just
that's
think
a
about
lot.
it sometimes.
That's a lot to have done
Thank you.
Mhm.
at
Thanks.
this early stage of your life.
She's
So.
very advanced. Very old soul.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
sure.
you guys. I appreciate the encouragement.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Lori Daniel Falk, and I'm a thought leader, life coach, and epigenetic healing artist. And what I would say that right now, the main focus of my work is really on understanding epigenetics and the emotional root cause behind disease. As a coach, I've been dealing with subconscious blocks and programs for years, but I'm really getting passionate about those emotional blocks that create the diseases in our life. And it's amazing to me how few people are aware of this. I've been traveling with Hay House and studying under Dr. Bruce Lipton, and to me it's like second nature, but I'm finding as I'm out in the world, Anna and I were talking about this on the way here, so few people are actually aware of the importance of this. And I would have to say that I stumbled upon most of this. And it really wasn't my intention. I didn't really stumble. I asked God to show me what I was here for. And I was divinely led to becoming a spiritual life coach. And then I was divinely led to become an artist and to create art. And I didn't even have the words for it at the time that I started this 12 years ago, because 12 years ago, epigenetics wasn't really as well known as it is today, which is still under the radar screen. So I've been gifted with this ability to create art that's infused with the wisdom of the angelic realm, that's designed to move people at a heart level to help them make any shifts or changes necessary to heal those emotions. So in essence, it's epigenetic healing art. But 12 years ago, nobody would have known what that was. And I, like many of us, I mean, actually, the statistics show that 50% of all girls will be sexually abused by the time they're 18. That's unofficial statistics. The stated statistic is 25%, but all the therapists and counselors I've spoken with said it's way closer to 50. So I'm part of that group. I know how it's impacted my life. And one day I went to see my therapist and said, I'm so done with this. You know, I think I was around 50 at the time. And I said, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. And she said, well, go home and make one of those portraits for yourself around this issue. And I'm like, okay, let's see. I just paid you to tell me to go create a piece of art. Okay, got it. So I did, and this is the piece that was created.
Do you want to bring it closer to the camera?
There. And this is our abuse healing angel, and you can see that she's actually crying an infinity river of tears, which is the foundation upon which her life is built until she's able to speak the truth from her heart, and then the light can come back out around her. But what's really poignant, I'd love to read you, is the message that the angels brought through on this subject. And what they said is there's no getting away from the fact that the impact of abuse penetrates the soul. It matters not that abuse is verbal, emotional, or sexual. The end result is something that must be addressed head on for a healing to occur. What most do not realize is that the perpetrator often struggles as much as the victim. Both suffer from guilt and shame. Both struggle with fear. fear that it will happen again, fear that they will be found out, fear that their soul will never heal, not in this incarnation or in all of eternity. The angel of abuse healing reminds us that compassion, both for ourselves and the other, is the only thing that can truly heal any injustice. And compassion, more than anything else, is what is needed most. While the victim may never forget the behavior, they must be able to forgive the person who inflicted this on them. The perpetrator, in turn, must be able to acknowledge they are experiencing this for a reason they may not even understand, and find a way to forgive themselves in order for a healing to occur. The old adage, it's all in divine order, comes into play here, for it truly is, even when we don't presently understand. So forgiveness is really, really the key, and that's been a huge focus of your work over the years, Anna. So
That's a nice segue in the circle.
for sure.
Let's do that. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, because we've just got a couple minutes left on this. So
Okay.
yeah,
So it's okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, this is Don.
Hi, Don. We're running.
And Lindsay, we're just calling to wish you congratulations
Thank
and how
you.
proud we are of you.
Oh, thank you so much. You both have been such a wonderful support. Lindsay is my daughter-in-law, and Don is my husband, who has just been an incredible support that I'm so appreciative of. Yay! We're almost done with the video, and we were just going to have Anna introduce her work, so we'll just carry on with that, okay?
Yes, Charles is on his final couple of miles. He will have accomplished his goal of 50 miles in 8 hours. And we're very proud of him, too.
Yay, that's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So Don and Lindsay have been a support team. Yay, you guys, that's wonderful.
All right. Well,
Great support. Thank you.
okay.
The
Talk
world needs
soon.
more like you. Okay, bye.
All right.
Cindy. Or you can
Bye-bye.
put it on if you care to. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Anna Casper.